Good morning, Elmira Baptist Church. Today is July 1st, 2021. This is your Elmira Baptist Church weekly update. Can you believe it's already July 1st? I feel like the summer is just speeding away from us, and I know my July is much more busy than my June. So thanks for joining me in this week's update. Let me give you an interesting quote. This is by April Witt. She said, "Consumerism was the triumphant winner of the ideological wars of the 20th century, beating out both religion and politics as the path millions of Americans follow to find purpose, meaning, order, and transcendent exaltation in their lives. Liberty in this market democracy has, for many, come to mean freedom to buy as much as you can of whatever you wish, endlessly reinventing and telegraphing your sense of self with each new purchase." Let me read that again to you. Consumerism was the triumphant winner of the ideological wars of the 20th century, beating out both religion and politics as the path millions of Americans follow to find purpose, meaning, order, and transcendent exaltation in their lives. Liberty in this market democracy has, for many, come to mean freedom to buy as much as you can of whatever you wish. Interesting definition of liberty there. Well, let me give you some updates. The building just keeps moving along. If you've not been by the property in a while just to see what's going on, I'd encourage you just to drive by. The building just keeps getting taller and taller, and I was joking with a fella today that we may end up needing to put one of those airplane lights on it, the red flashing light to let low-flying aircraft know that there's a building there. I'm just joking. I don't think that'll be necessary, but they are currently working on that bell tower, which adds another 10 feet or so to the top of the building. And you're definitely going to be able to see this building from some distance when it's all finished. They are continuing to work on the sheeting of the trusses, and hopefully we'll have that done in the next couple of weeks. We'll move on to the phase where we put the roof on, put paper down and shingles down, and then the windows and doors will need to be done, and then following that we'll need to do some siding. I am so encouraged because God just keeps bringing in the money that's needed, and I know as you pray with me and we give as the Lord directs us, that this project is going to be done in God's time. Not only is it going to take money, we need some engineers. We need an engineer that'll help us write up the proposal to pull the power from PG&E's power lines into the building, as we'll need new service to accommodate the increased building size. And then we need an engineer to help us with I believe it's Title 24 documents that we'll need to provide in order to get the HVAC system in. Now, obviously, we can pay engineers to do the work. That's a possibility. But wouldn't it be nice if God provided a couple of engineers that would do that at no cost, just out of the goodness of their heart? I know that's their line of work. They would have to be donating their time and their effort. That's what I'm praying for. I hope you'll join me in praying for that. Also, we have a part a week from this Saturday on July 10th. Not this Saturday, a week from this Saturday on July 10th. I'm inviting you men to come out, wear your paint clothes, and we've got some painting to do under the eaves of this building. I want to get started in the morning about 8 o'clock because it will get hot, and get those eaves painted. I've got a couple of fellows with airless sprayers that will be able to make that go by quickly, but you can help setting things up, tearing things down, moving things around, cleaning up, that type of thing. But again, wear your paint clothes. And then here in a few weeks, I anticipate we'll also need to install the windows and doors, not the storefront doors. We're going to get those done professionally, but there's 2 metal frame doors and 10 windows in the building that we should be able to install ourselves and save ourselves quite a bit of money. So be looking for that opportunity to serve as well. And then again, just as the Lord leads you, please give. Please invite your family and friends that you know to give as well. And we'll just keep working until we're out of money. And I'm praying the building will be done before we get there. Last Sunday, we had a healthy group out on Sunday morning. A good group of young people and a good group on Sunday evening when we celebrated our graduates and had an ice cream social. And Roger reminded our missionaries as he sent out his email this week to the missionaries, we like ice cream. So we'll probably do that again here this summer before the summer is done. This coming Sunday, we have our food and fellowship. Our food and fellowship. The church is going to provide the hot dogs, hot dog buns, condiments. We're asking you to provide side dishes, salads, desserts. And we'll set those out again on the counter as we have in the past. Just invite you to bring those on in. We'll set those out. We'll share our meal this coming Sunday. Let me remind you of the schedule on our Food and Fellowship Sunday. 9:45 starts our Sunday school hour. We'll meet here in the sanctuary, all of us together, kids, adults. We sing a couple songs. We recognize birthdays and anniversaries. Sometimes there's a critical announcement, and then we'll break up into our various classes. This coming Sunday, July 4th, Scotty's going to be here in person to teach. So that will not be pre-recorded. You could watch it live at 9:50, 9:55 when he gets started. Unfortunately, you're going to have trouble between the end of that and the beginning of the morning worship at 11. So let me encourage you to do this. Let me encourage you, if you can, to come out at 9:45, see that Sunday school class in person. If it's not possible for you to come for both the Sunday school hour and the morning worship, I do understand. Come for the morning worship at 11 in person, and then plan to watch that Sunday school class on Sunday afternoon. Those of you that are still at home, cannot join us in person, you'll just want to watch at 9:45 for the live stream of the Sunday school hour, and then again watch at 11 o'clock for the live stream of the morning service. Right after that morning service, we'll have our food and fellowship, and then at 1:30, about 1:30, we'll have our praise and testimony time. Could be a little bit later. Sometimes our food and fellowship goes long, but about 1:30 you should look for us. The goal is to live stream that as well, but boy, sometimes things happen and unexpected things prevent us from live streaming. Those of you that will be with us for that praise and testimony service, let me encourage you to write down your praises, write down your testimonies, because if you're like me, you get into that and you think, oh, I was going to share that, but what was it? I don't remember. I don't want that to be you. So write those down, plan to share with us at 1:30 on Sunday. This Sunday is Independence Day, so we'll be looking at the Declaration of the Christian's freedom. And I've continued the podcast, and I will continue it at least through the middle of July. Again, if you're looking for it, go to your favorite podcast player, and it is Elmira and You. That is the town, Elmira. The ampersand, which is that funny little squiggle that means and, ampersand, Y-O-U. Elmira and You should help you find that. That comes out in the afternoons now. So if you've been looking for it in the morning and you appear to be a day behind, well, that's because you're actually getting the previous day's afternoon feed. But I'm getting that out in the afternoons now. And then I would like us all to consider how we can work together to pass our faith on to the next generation. And I'll be talking about that from time to time over the course of the summer. But think about, how can you pass on your faith in God to the next generation? Or if you're the younger generation, how can you receive that faith from the previous generation? That's the question I'd like you to consider. I meant to give this homework last night. I meant to give you homework last night. I did not. So let me give it to you this morning. It'll be posted in the bulletin. For this coming Wednesday's class, memorize and meditate on Galatians 5:16. Galatians 5:16. Walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Galatians 5:16. And then consider the question, so what does it mean to walk in the Spirit? What does it mean to walk in the Spirit? And we'll be discussing that aspect of a healthy Christian life this coming Wednesday night, Lord willing. For our devotional this morning, take your Bibles, Psalm 119. Psalm 119. Look at verse 45. But before we get to verse 45, for some context, let me pick it up in verse 41. This is Psalm 119, 41. Let thy mercies come also unto me, O Lord, even thy salvation according to thy word. So shall I have wherewith to answer him that reproacheth me, for I trust in thy word. And take not the word of truth utterly out of my mouth, for I have hoped in thy judgments. So shall I keep thy law continually forever and ever, and I will walk at liberty, for I seek thy precepts. I will walk at liberty, for I seek thy precepts. True liberty, biblical liberty, comes from walking in God's laws, comes from keeping his commandments. True liberty is not freedom from God's commandments. True liberty is freedom to keep God's commandments. That's because the opposite of true liberty is bondage to sin. When we are in bondage to sin, we find we are unable to keep God's commandments because sin has a hold on us. True liberty is that freedom we have to follow God and to follow his way. Bondage to sin is when we continue to do what we recognize is not in our best interests. You see, sin has a penalty, and sin also has power. The penalty of sin is death. Romans 6:23 tells us, for the wages of sin is death. The power of sin is the ability to keep us doing what we don't want to do, or to keep us from doing what we do want to do. Intellectually, we assent, this is good, this is what I ought to do. Bondage to sin keeps us from doing that. Intellectually, in our minds, we say, this is bad, I can't keep doing this, but the bondage to sin keeps us doing that. Romans 6:6 and Romans 6:12 talks about this. Verse 6 says, knowing this, that our old man was crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed. That is, our body, this current mortal body that we have, it is sinful. This old man just keeps doing what's wrong. Unless we walk in the Spirit, then we don't fulfill the lusts of the flesh. But listen to verse 12. It says this, let not sin therefore reign in your mortal bodies, that ye should obey it in the lust thereof. Reign, R-E-I-G-N, reign, that is control. Have dominion, have power. Both the penalty of sin and the power of sin were destroyed by Jesus Christ when he died on the cross. Jesus Christ has the victory, and Jesus Christ grants that victory to his children. That's why it says in Galatians 5 to stand fast in the liberty wherewith Christ has made us free. But you know what? Even though God, through his Son Jesus Christ, grants us that liberty, we still have to exercise it. That's what biblical liberty is. We'll be talking more about that topic on Sunday. I hope you'll come and join us at 11 o'clock, or if you can't join us in person, you'll join us virtually at 11 o'clock as we look at the Christian's Declaration of Independence. Again, don't forget, we'll be meeting live for the Sunday School Hour, 9:45. Scotty will be teaching here, so look for us then, 9:45, 9:50 on the live stream. But I hope to be able to see you in person on Sunday.